We are all
perfect. Wait, who is trying to enter? No one is trying to enter. You know, I
how, many
see
of, how many of us are there already? Okay, he's already in. Michael is in.
Okay, yes, Michael is in.
So let his video be on. I want to try and put his video on. Okay, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I can see everyone.
You can see everyone, right?
Yeah, I can see everyone.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, Ozzin, so good morning, everyone. Ozzin is our guest for now. I met Ozzin a few months ago, I think around November, when they did Techniques. That was when I met Ozzin. And Ozzin has been a friend. And she's going to be engaging us this morning. I trust that you're going to be blessed. So, Ozzin, we have you now.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me, Ms. Anyude and Michael. I'm so excited to speak and to contribute today on the topic around identity, purpose, calling, and also how to live a meaningful life. It's a very deep topic, and in this next 1 hour, I'm going to share some part of my story, some awakenings that I had from being this. In this year, in June, being nominated as the best business mentor in Dubai from the royal family, and being in different magazines, outlets, making my impact, running my coaching business from all around the world, from being at Times Square, which was for me a big dream last year that it happened. And all of these blessings and those amazing things, it started with exploring different things pragmatically. Because I believe that many times when we think theoretically about something that we want to do, it hits in very differently when you do it actually pragmatically, and you quickly realize what you like, what you don't like as well. Guys, can you hear me? Just to make sure. Can you hear me, guys? Hello, can you hear me? Wait, Miss Omnia, do you hear me? I don't hear the audio from you. No, you don't hear me? It's loading. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Should I start again since you didn't hear me?
Please start again.
Okay. All right. I just want to say again, welcome for being here. I'm so excited to share with you over the next 1 hour on the topic of identity, purpose, and calling. So everything with me, for those who don't know, my name is Ozzin Jun. I'm a business mentor based in Switzerland. And this year in June, I was awarded as the best business mentor from the royal family. And there was for me an exciting milestones working with different clients all around the world. And I've been in different magazines, and I could travel around the world, meeting different people, coaching people all around the world. And from being in Times Square, New York, at the billboard, that was last year, and also being in the UN and being a global ambassador for many amazing organizations. However, everything started differently as well by we have to explore different things pragmatically as well. Miss Andilude, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Ozzin, you can go on. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. And in terms of the different things pragmatically, I realized that we have to try it out in real life. For example, writing down what are the passions that you want to pursue. And when you have 10, 20 different ideas, to write down all the things that pulls you and then just trying it out. Because my journey, it started from being a student, obviously going to school, and I didn't quite know my purpose, what I wanted to do in life. Also, I didn't have the money. However, there is something within my journey that I embarked, that I started to evolve deeper meaning to my life. And it started with different questions I asked myself. So in the beginning, I just wanted to pay my bills, right? Like, you want to survive, you want to, like, provide for your family. But then once I zoom out and I ask myself the questions, what's the thing that really fulfills me? What's the thing that gives me energy daily? What's something that maybe distracts me every night? Like, what keeps you awake? And that's something where I realized I love helping people. And I always somewhat coach people in a way before I was actually a coach. And this is where I believed, yes, even with coaching, I can make money, I can do what I love, I can follow God's purpose and calling and go through that. And obviously, there was a lot of contrast that happened in 2019, for those who don't know, where I got kidnapped, where I was raped, abused, and where I had a really hard and horrific time in my life, being in toxic relationships, feeling like I had a money block, and not knowing mentally how to navigate dailies for my life. And that shifted very quickly in 2, 3 years to really healing myself. It's still an evolution, but I healed a lot of parts of me. I allowed myself to start my business, to be successful in what I do. And that's what led me to all of these things. And I want to start off something that was one of the biggest awakening of this year, actually. And it has to do with the sentence, I want to be independent. Especially as women, I believe also for men, when we are very driven, and most entrepreneurs these days, they always say, I want to be financial independent. I want to be generally independent because it gives me security, I feel more safe, and that's what we want. And we even have the movie, like in Hollywood released just very recently, the Barbie movie. And the Barbie movie, if you haven't seen that, like, maybe you can take a time to watch it. It's a movie that highlights a lot of these issues we have in society, but it's very deep as well. But what I found is, in this Barbie movie, it portrays the ideal woman that looks pretty, that is so perfect. That's how it starts. She has it all. She got all her shit always together, and she don't need a man. It's in a perfect Barbie world, and she's independent. She don't need anyone. She's successful in her career and anything. And that honesty was how I started, because I got hurt a lot in my past, from relationships that hurt me, things that didn't go the way I wanted. I started to have this belief, I need to be an independent woman. And I'm going to tell you why this is important, but how it has to be understood on a deeper root, in what way we have to understand independency. So the modern women, the independent women, she says, I don't need a man. I can't depend on a man. I need to be an independent from everyone. I need to save myself. I need to provide for myself, whether it's financially. I need to be emotionally well off. And I need to work like a man. Like, I wake up at the same time every single day. I get my business started and I work strongly because I can. I'm a woman. And you see, there's a whole movement also in the entrepreneurial space about the boss babe move, right? Like, be your own boss, be your own queen, rock it, make it. You're so strong, you don't need help. And there is an aspect that I think is really important as a woman, to have financial literacy, to have education about your skill set. That's why what Ms. Onilude, what Deborah International Organization does, the Beauty Beyond, like, you guys we're working towards foster the skill set. So you can be somewhat an independent woman, and you can, do your business, you can provide for yourself. However, what if there was a healthier way of doing that? Because this comes with a lot of different issues later in life, which happened to me already. and I'm gonna share you how it affected me. So when I was living like this independent woman, I was blocking a lot of blessings away. You know, like I was giving a lot of love, but I was not receiving the love from others. I was living my life according to my own willpower instead of God's willpower, saying, this is what I want to do, this is my vision, this is my dream. I'm Ozzin Jun, and I'm going to speak my truth until I awaken, especially this year, on a deeper level of that I actually needed to ask for forgiveness from God. Because all the time long, although I thought I was doing that was something I love, which is coaching, and I think that's already a good step, right? Like to start a business, to do what you love, that's a great start. But when we go further, what's the deeper core about that? And I started to learn about the Bible, the truth, knowing the words of God. And I always used to first pray without knowing the words, but then knowing the truth and knowing that Jesus is the way, and also submission to Jesus, that was really awakening to me. And I was constantly running away of the idea of being independent, dependent to anyone, because I saw myself when I was growing up, how my mom, unfortunately, had a lot of pain around that, where she dated or had a man in her life that hurt her. It's a very personal story, but like guys who betrayed, things that really didn't happen the way it should be. And that's something that I saw growing up. So therefore, you know, it kind of shifted also my beliefs around that. And then you see on social media, on YouTube and things, content that will always influence you, you know, like either guys, women who are really good. And then you have like things where they say, yeah, this guy or woman betrayed me and was not loyal and things. And you start to adapt all these different belief things and making you feel you have to be independent because that's the safest way. And again, as I mentioned, it comes from the painful past experiences, mostly from our traumas. And if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, or in my case, also the rape in 2019, there's a lot of fear and healings that is probably still happening or in you. And it's a normal instinct to do that. So if you do that, don't judge yourself because it's normal, but also what can we change so you let the love in, you allow to surrender to Jesus, and you allow to be actually dependent on the right people. Because again, society brainwashes us, be a boss babe, never depend on anyone, so you don't want to be hurt again. And another very big topic is about what the demon is actually trying to do. It's trying to make us independent. And the reason why the Satan tries to do that is that Satan, they see the greatness first in you. Most of the time, we always say like turn inwards. You got to see the own inventory and your own gifts, than just comparing yourself with others. But what if the Satan and the evil, they just sees the greatness more in you before you actually do? Because the Satan knows that you're a big history maker. The Satan knows that Jesus gave you a big calling. So for him, he wants to prevent you from reaching and fulfilling your calling from Jesus. And that's why there is a metaphor that helped me a lot in my journey to imagine that. That happens through a conversation I had with my pastor here in Switzerland. And it was about the God's bubble. If you surrender to Jesus, you can imagine some sort of like you're in a God's bubble. And the bubble is protecting you from a lot of things that are unclean, not good. And the moment you basically get independent, you're actually removing yourself out of from the bubble, so other things can affect you. The Satan can affect you, thoughts that are not good can affect you, and so on. And the Satan, it promised you a lot of power. He wants to take your identity away, and that's where many people actually don't know who they are. You know, like it used to be there is men and women, and now you see people saying she, her, there is transgender. You have all type of communities, and people just really don't know who they are. They don't even know what gender they are. So I asked myself, how could we come even that far to the point where we are today? And that's why, again, the Satan, we have to understand where this comes from. And it comes from, he wants to know the good and evil. The Satan wanted to be king for himself. He wanted to be the authority, and he plants thoughts and emotions and fears that are not yours, but feels like it's yours. And that's one of the things that the awareness that is really important, that you have that. In my journey, I always deepen my awareness. Like, you can never be triggered from someone else, but you are your own triggers. But what are your triggers? What are your traumas? What's the voice of the Holy Spirit, and what's the voice of just your thoughts? And that's a very important distinction to know and to make. And if you're interested to learn more about that specific topic, I will do a next YouTube video on that, where you can access this as well as a course. But for today, I want to focus really on the identity part of what we're talking about, the purpose and meaning of life, how you can find it. And from all this dependency that we talked about, like, I want to be alone, I'm well off, I don't need a boyfriend, man, ever in my life, everything shifted a lot. And I turned into a dependent woman, still independent in my own ways, but dependent to Jesus, dependent on the God-aligned people, dependent to my kingdom and my team that I'm building to reach my vision and purpose. So this whole independency, I started to say the sentences of, I fully surrender to Jesus. I embody being dependent to Jesus because I have a kingdom to serve, and also to have this healthy trust around the people. Again, like, I believe you are your own catalyst in your own lifetime. So when you want to change something and do something, and as a woman, like, foster your skills, you know how to pay the rent, you know how to pay your bills, you have a certain skill set, like, that's great. Like, that's something I really encourage. However, don't block yourself completely from that, because that's something that blocks a lot of blessings away. And as here, the independency needs to be redefined in society. And instead of this whole Barbie movie where this is all idealized that there is just one Barbie, it's true, there is Barbie, but there is also Ken. And apart from Barbie and Ken, there is also Jesus. That's why a marriage is between 3 people and not 2. And that's something that I see a lot of couples don't include in their relationship, and it shows up in different ways. When it gets really hard, that people tend to give up. They give up on relationship, they give up on pursuing their business when it gets really tough. They don't have this patience and persistency and the commitment to keep going. Because when you have a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, it's your daily commitment and choice. Yet he is my husband, yet he is my boyfriend, and so on. And it's not something that you just depend on circumstances around that, even though it's hard. And same for a business. That's why there's something that has to be understood as an identity that is grounded and not situational shifting. And here is a picture of me and my boyfriend. So actually 2.5 years ago, I met him in a very unexpected way. And the reason I'm showing this is because I want you to inspire, even as a woman, if you've been through an abusive relationship and you had really a hard past and you don't trust guys, same, like, same girl, like, you're not the only one. There are so many people probably being hurt in their past. And even as a guy, then we tend to push people away. We don't let that love in. But as I experienced, love always happens in unexpected ways. And something that we both, me and Daniel, my boyfriend, encountered is throughout those 2.5 years, we both started from being broke, just freshly graduated. He didn't know really his purpose, and he didn't have a company. And I just started with my coaching business. And everything that you see now on Instagram, on the things we share, and we're traveling the world, that's been an evolution of 2.5 years. So it's pretty short or pretty long, the way you want to call it. But you see, like, we went from not knowing what we will do to earning money, and in my case, also exponential money that happened in my coaching, to finding the love of my life and the calling and so on. And that's something that you can have it as well. It can happen in your life as well. So always be grounded in that faith, because the more faith you have, the more solid your life. And even when you're single, don't be frustrated. You don't need someone to complete it. You are whole by yourself. However, the right person will add to your happiness. She will support in your goals. and will draw you closer to Jesus and not away from Jesus. And that's something that was important to me and that helped me honestly a lot in my journey. And so again, don't give up and always have this faith in you. And the same things I wanted to show to you in terms of the broke and the woke version. It's an exercise I always do, so you can note it down if you have a pen and paper. What does the broke version of you look like, and what's the new woke version that you will embody? So you see in the other ones, when I was struggling and then financially not knowing, like where to start and the pressure, and then juggling different jobs, 9-to-5 jobs, and then being 2019 still in university. And then I decided to drop out. I decided to fully commit. I decided to be consistent. Like in my journey, I've learned you can have the best mentor, the best courses, but something you can never buy is the consistency of successful people. That's really key. I showed up when it was really hard. I show up when I don't feel like it. I show up when it's really hard. I show up even and make offers when people don't even sign up or when I have no clients. But that's the result of later getting actually the results. And I think it's not about, oh, it's so hard, she's much smarter, I cannot achieve it, it's only because it's Ozzin or she's special. No, I believe we all have a different calling. Only because someone is a world speaker or someone is a cameraman, someone is, I don't know, doing things in the aerospace. You see, like we have a different calling. So I cannot promise people when saying, no, you're going to be like me. No, you're probably not, because you are you and you have your own path. But what I can say is you're going to tap into your own calling. And when you trust the Lord and surrender, there are so many blessings and things that will happen that is not even in your plans. And the best things are usually not even in your plans written. So again, here, the broke version of Ozzin, it has like, I don't have money. How many times did you like not start something because you said, I don't have the money, I cannot afford it, I got to do it myself, I don't even have the time because I'm so busy. And then how does the woke version look like? The woke version of me started to ask myself when I was broke and not having the money to invest into mentorship, to asking myself, how can I actually afford this? How can I help others and actually add value? Even if you don't have the resources, like what is the resourcefulness you can embody? And sometimes the resourcefulness comes in a different way, because I always say you are the money. What if you had a skill? What if you can, I don't know, trade a service or something that you've got to help someone, and then you help each other as well? And also, I don't have time. It comes from, self-management. Like, how do you spend your time daily? And how do you prioritize it, using it and understanding the short-term sacrifice right now for something that is greater in the future? When I was transitioning from having a job to a full-time entrepreneur, and then when it gets hard, having to get again a job and then going back, there was a limited time because I needed to sleep, I needed to eat. There was even time where I had my emotional breakdown because I needed to heal, so there was a lot of things that took my energy and time. But I also made sure, how can I dedicate some time in building my business forward into my vision? How to have intentional time to pray to Jesus and not just have the leftover time, whenever I have time. And I prioritized those things to make the things work. And even though it was pretty intense, it was worth it. And when you do the right things that you love, it will give you a lot of energy and it gives you the persistence needed. So question to yourself, do a list for you, even after this webinar, that you can note for yourself, what is the current broke you and what's the woke you. The impact that you get from this exercise is that your whole life can change. As crazy it sounds, it's not just something I want to say, like this a fancy exercise, just do it and then put it in your wardrobe and never look at it. Like, it's a question that actually made me 6 figures. It's a question that helped me to heal. And it's the questions that actually changed my whole life upside down. Because you got to know who you are right now and what thoughts and habits and triggers and traumas you have to be able to know, okay, I want to be one day a millionaire, or I want to be one day a good mom and things. There is a better version of me. And then you can collapse the time and decide to be that person today. And once you do that, this is where financially, relationship-wise, healing-wise, every angle of you will start to shape because you have the awareness and you start to embody the new version. And that's very important to be aware of and to really dig into that. So I'm going to send to Ms. Anlude and the community later those slides as well, so you have it for yourself. But yeah, really take the time for that. And another thing that I see that comes a lot with the identity crisis is that many people, they depend too much on their circumstances, meaning, like, I'm financially not good, I'm emotionally really broken, I don't feel really great, I feel very uncomfortable, I don't feel like living, in fact, I have depression. So what happens is they are really consumed by their own circumstances. And the thing is, when you are so consumed by your circumstances, you will never be able to fully indulge into your calling. And that's really important, that that you don't get just like consumed by your calling, but that you allow yourself to embody it, and that the calling will actually consume your circumstances. I think we just lost connection. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just saying, the whole thing is about the circumstances. It's really important to allow to let your calling in, so the calling can actually consume your circumstances and not the other way around. Because many times people struggle when they are having financial issues, emotional issues, traumas, and you let yourself down, you let yourself be in depression, and that there is something stronger that is foundational. So most people, when they're in a bad situation, they're always like, let's make some money first, let's be rich first, let's settle the situation first so I can be more comfortable to serve God. And that's something that happens often, so we procrastinate on that. But exactly in those moments when we actually are not in our best, this is the time when it's even more a priority to indulge into God. Because again, the circumstances did not call you, but it's God calling you. And any emotions that you have, any sickness, any trauma, any relationship, any unclean spirit that is not from God, it will be cleaned and consumed by the Holy Spirit. And that's really important. So again, in those things, I want you to remember that God is not calling you in a few weeks or in months or year, but he's calling you right now. He's calling you right now to pray and to know that you're loved from Jesus. And therefore, it opens up the chapter to create your dream life that you can manifest. And that's questions that I had from few people asking, how could you change your life so fast? Financially, how could you go from being in an abusive relationship in healthy relationships? How did I deal with that behind the scenes? So I'm going to share today what tool you can use to do the same. Remember, most of the people, Walt Disney, they have the greatest Walt Disney movies. And whenever you watch this movie, you're thinking, wow, this is so good to be true. Some of these things could only happen in movies. But I always believed in my life that the best movie is our movie, the movie that we get to create. The best movie is my life. And the best games is the game I play daily with my people, whether it's being my purpose, serving the people, but even in making money, right? Like money is just paper, but we are using it in this society, in this world, as a trade to get goods, food, and whatnot. And one of the things with that, it also allows you to really like dream big, and you have to allow the magic happen, because many times when I manifest things, it happens very fast. Like saying, I want to meet a specific person, this film director in Hollywood, or I want to manifest more money into my life and a healthy relationship. But there's also a part where many people block themselves from those blessings because they think, I have to think realistically, or I don't deserve it. And when you don't feel the worthiness of that, when the opportunity is there, you will not see it. And even when you see it, you will not take it because you're not, you don't feel worthy of that. And that's why it's really important to open up. And also, I actually want to kick off with an exercise, but I'm not sure, Miss Onilu, that do they have a pen and paper to write now, or should I do that another time?
Do you have pen and paper to write now? Yes.
You have, okay. So I want you to take a pen and paper now, and I will guide you towards a conscious writing exercise, towards manifesting your dream and the next moves as well, for this year and for next. So yeah, if you guys can take a pen and paper, I will start this shortly.
Do you have your pen and paper?
Okay, let me know when you're ready. So I will start with the exercise.
Okay, I think we are ready now. You can start.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things I want you to write down is, you write down, I see myself. That's the first sentence you write, I see myself. And then write down over the next 2 minutes what you see in yourself. For example, I go first. I see myself speaking on stages, being on TV, teaching kids around the world about storytelling and about purpose. I see myself traveling to many places, Dubai, Bali, Japan. I see myself being a powerful keynote speaker. I see myself being really happy in a happy marriage. I see myself with my kids playing around, and I see myself transforming educations and better leaders. So my question to you, what do you see in you? Write this down for yourself. I'm going to give you 2-3 minutes and put some music in the background. And I want you to write those things down, what you see. Don't have limitations. Think about the best version.
Did you hear? I see myself. The exercise is write down what you see yourself becoming. Where is that noise coming from? What do you see yourself? I see myself traveling the world. I see myself being the best mom. I see myself preaching to crowd in the stadium. I see myself. So what do you see yourself becoming? Write down. Ozzin, you can go on, please. Ozzin, please move on. You can go on, please.
Ready? Should I continue?
Yeah, continue.
Okay. So the next things I want you to write is, write down, I feel, I believe, I am. Write the sentence, I feel, I believe, I am. So I go first again. I believe I am the highest version of my truths, of the leaders through Jesus. I believe I'm one of the greatest keynote speakers. I believe I am a best-selling author. I believe I am truly happy. And I believe I'm a powerful force. So these are some of the things that you write. You write down what you believe in. I feel, I believe, I am, and then you continue.
I feel I
Again,
believe
sentence before we continue to the next.
version of myself. I am happy. I believe I am a global transformer. I believe I am a world changer. So put down what you believe you are. You're not writing. I believe I am a world changer. I believe I'm the best speaker. I believe when I walk to a space, everything shakes. I believe I deserve to be celebrated. Move on, please, Ozzin. Ozzin, continue.
Okay. So the next things that we're writing down is, I'm committing to, and then you write down your sentence again. For example, I go first. I'm committing to show a 360-degree of myself. I'm committing to share my full story with the people who need to hear it. I'm committing to show up for my business, for my team, and I commit to doing weekly a live. I commit to speak on stage at least twice of this year, and I commit to build a team. So these could be different commitments. It can really vary from career, relationship, whatever you want to commit. But write down, I'm committing to. I give you again a few times, and you can commit something that is for a lifetime, but you can also reduce it to the next 6 to 12 months to what you're committing to.
Do you hear that? I'm committing to get this done. I believe this is who I am, but you must be committed to getting it established. So I'm committed to praying 2 hours every day. I'm committing myself to reading my Bible. I'm committing myself to share my full story, to show up on stages. I'm committing myself to start that business. I'm committing to building a vibrant team through whom I'm going to transform the globe and transform the world. So put down your commitment. The first one is I believe, your dream. The second one is I feel, this is who I am. And the third one is your commitment. So put down your commitment. You're not writing. In essence, what will you start doing when you step out of this space to become world changer? What will you start doing? That's what we're asking you to put down. If you're not going to get committed, nothing will happen. It will only happen in the dream. Ozzin, please move on.
Okay, so the next thing is, after you write down your commitments, the next thing is, when would I usually stop? That's the title. And then write that down. When are the times after your commitment? When is the time you usually stop? For example, I usually stop when I'm overwhelmed with too many things at once. I usually stop because I lose focus and I feel it's too much, so I end up doing nothing. I usually stop when I embody perfectionism over excellence. I usually stop when I feel like I'm trapped in just knowledge instead of doing pragmatically the things. I also usually stop when I'm around my family or certain people that seem toxic to me or that affect me. Or I usually stop when I hear a comment of someone saying something very negative about me. So write all the things down within your commitment. When is usually the time when you stop? When is the time when it's really hard for you? And take a time for that.
Okay, did you hear what she said? When do you stop committing to your essence of existence? It's possible for you to be overwhelmed, and when you are overwhelmed, you stop. When you get into abuse relationship, toxic relationship, you stop. So when do you stop? Wow. Welcome back.
So after you write down what you will do, hear me?
When, yes, we can hear you.
So after you wrote down
Go on,
what you do, when you usually stop, write down what will happen if I stop. That's the next title. It's really important to have this awareness because you see what happens when you stop. For example, if I stop, I will remain being in my room, having no money, and I will be in my room not knowing, going after my purpose. I will be living continuously with my mom, which I love her, but I want to also live on my own. If I stop, I wouldn't be able to help others in teaching people around purpose, identity, and helping people to build their own businesses. If I stop and don't heal, then I cannot help the other people in the transformation I have with the mental illness and other things. If I stop, I cannot change the education system and build the leadership academies. And if I stop, I cannot even travel to Nigeria to come to you in person and to host events the way I plan to. So write down for 1-2 minutes, what will happen if you stop?
Did you hear that?
Yes.
You know, there are so many things I want to tell you to stop. I told you that we were planning for this meeting, and there were so many reasons why we should not do it. But if we didn't do it, Ozzin will not be speaking to you from Switzerland. So if you stop pursuing your dream, do you know so many things that will happen? You won't be a role model to many young girls. If you stop, you will remain in your mother's house. You won't make impact. So you can't afford to stop pushing for your essence of existence. So you have to keep pushing. Praise God. So write down those things. Adewale, if I stop pursuing my dream, what will happen? Adeleke, if I stop showing up, if I fail to allow my better fashion to appear, what happens to me? Write down. Ozzin, please move on.
Okay, so the last title that you will write is what will happen if I don't stop and push myself through no matter what? So what happens if I don't stop? I go first. If I don't stop, I will make a couple of millions in my life. If I don't stop, I will be able to help thousands of people worldwide to embody their purpose. If I don't stop, I will be able to create my own movie and to impact even millions of people. If I don't stop, I can be a voice in the education system and change it in better ways. If I don't stop, I'm able to build my family and build an empire with my family while impacting lives out there. So again, write down what happens if you don't stop.
So if I don't stop, what happens? If I don't stop dreaming, if I don't stop committing myself to the essence of my existence, just imagine so many things that will happen if I don't stop. So will you put it down? If I don't stop singing, if I don't stop writing, if I don't stop involving, can you envision it? If I don't stop, this happens to me. If I don't stop. So are you going to stop? What happens if I don't stop? Can you put down? Are you writing? How many of you are writing? Very few. Some of you are not hearing. Please, you can hear me. That's what I'm trying to recap for you. If Ozzin had stopped because she was raped, can I tell you a story? This lady was raped 3 times. She was kidnapped. She was in an abusive relationship. But today, she's a global brand. She travels the world. She went to NEPA to represent work against rape and indirect discrimination because she failed to stop dreaming. So it doesn't matter what your background is. Somebody saying, you don't know me. I'm from the poorest of the poor. Don't stop. Tell your neighbor, say, don't stop.
Don't stop.
She didn't hear you. Say, don't stop.
Don't stop.
Osi, move on, please.
I love it. I love it. Yes, we don't stop. And again, this exercise, I hope you can write some things for yourself down. I'm going to send to Miss Anilude the questions again and the examples so you can really take the time, even after this masterclass today, to, take more time about that. And there is a following second exercise that you can do with that. And most importantly, execute on that because you have to believe in it. So when you have those things, your commitments, and you know when you usually stop, but you also know what happens if I don't stop. Hello, I can travel the world. Hello, I have more money. I can provide for my family. I feel fulfilled. Like that's the outcomes you can get and embody already. And if that helps you, I also wrote a letter to myself. And it's really important that you remind yourself because you got to be your own biggest fan. And I write myself, dear Ozzin, keep going, no matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it is. Even if something scares you, lean into courage. Keep going on those things, dream big, and speak your truth, speak Jesus' truth, no matter how hard the situation is. So these are some of the things I wrote into my letter, and that's something you can do for yourself. Write a letter to yourself and make a commitment letter to yourself. I hereby, Ozzin Jun, or I hereby your name. I commit to weekly do one live. I commit to making one day an Instagram post. I commit to spending one weekend, one day with my loved one, like making content time for family. So whatever that is, write down your commitment and make sure you put it on your bathroom, put it on the office, so you can really execute on that. So as we mentioned with Mrs. Onilude, you have the ability to manifest anything you want. So from me, going through a horrific time, 2019, of being kidnapped, raped, and not knowing where to go to be where I am, it's been a pretty evolution. And I started with those different questions about my vision, like what's something that is not just determined on a temporary need, because many people, when they are in a situational things, like you need the money, you don't feel good, then you don't stretch your goals long term. So what's something you would be proud of building for the next 10 to 20 years? What's the movement that you're building? What's something that you're fighting for? What's something that you're standing for? Because when you find something in your life unfair, maybe you found yourself in the situations going to an event or joining someone else's workshop and things, and you realize in a day-to-day life, wow, that's so unfair. Why can men do this? Why women cannot do that? Or why why does this court process go so lame, and why are many victims in that position and they shouldn't be like that? Or why do they not receive the help? Maybe that's the reasons or the things that could be in your purpose, that you can change that, because the world is turning somewhat in a better place, because we have a lot of amazing people who change the world for the better. But as you can see, there's a lot of messed up things in the world that are not good. And you see the world is getting destroyed in many ways. So what are the things that you can improve and what you can strongly, pay for and also stand for? So again, make it specific, even in your manifestation. This is a very random example, but let's say that you want to manifest your dream partner. This is beyond, like you hear a lot of these law of attractions, people saying the universe is sending me to. But I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, and there's something out there. I use intentions. So there's a lot of surprises you're gonna get from Jesus in your life. Sometimes you think you get that, but then you get the other. And I thought I will get this, but then I got the opposite, and that's life. However, if you're intentional, it will help you to attract the right things. So for example, I knew that the quality in my future boyfriend or husband is, for example, he needs to be patient, he needs to be ambitious. I like guys who have the values of family, a guy who loves family, a guy who is a provider, a guy who is health conscious and knows emotional intelligence. These are characteristics. And then I had like extra wishes of, oh, he must have a beautiful smile. And some people say he must be blonde or brown hair, like whatever that is. But I'm just saying, know what you want in your life. Yes, God will surprise you, meaning be open to what you receive, because sometimes, again, you receive something much better, and you got to let go of the good to get sometimes the great. However, write down the things that you want. And then from there, I always use this metaphor. A manifestation, it should be effortless. Take what is yours calmly without pressurizing the situation, just as you would take the post letter from your letterbox. Because when you go to the post box, you receive the letter, it's very effortless. Like you walk down, you take the letter out, and it's yours already. That's the inner intention, because it's already doing the work. So you put your wish and desire out there, and you let the world carry that wish out. You let Jesus carry out the wish as well. And that's really important that you allow this to happen as well. And also important is you have daily a choice. You have the choice to be happy. You have the choice to create a new reality when you don't love it. And I think breaking your own happiness code is really key. And it's one of the greatest teaching I've done, far beyond just entrepreneurship and business, but breaking the own happiness code. Because even in the times when you're hustling, when you don't have the money, many people say, I'm going to be happy and better off if I make my millions. I'm going to later provide for my mommy and daddy when I'm a millionaire. But you never know what's going to happen. There is even a friend of mine who lost his dad while he was pursuing his entrepreneurial career. So that's also when one day my mom said, daughter, I am already proud of you. I am already happy with who you are today. But you don't have to tell me I'm going to give you the millions and millions after you're super rich. Like, mommy is happy if I can spend 5-10 minutes with you the time in a day-to-day, if you help me doing the laundry, if you help me doing the dishes, and so on. Like, it's the small moments with our family. It's the moments when I was broke, but even when I got much money, it never changed. The fact that I'm hanging out with my boyfriend Daniel, we're having a good time, even without having the money. Okay, the money did help us because you can afford more things. You can buy food and you can go out. That's true. But like sipping a coffee together, going for a picnic, going for a walk, laughing, that was for free anyways. So I want you to know that you can embrace the code of happiness already today with today's session. And there is so much more in store for you that Jesus has, and you can choose that. You can choose the happiness, you can choose the commitment, and you can choose to change your life no matter how bad or the odds are. And this is a manifestation board that I've created actually 2 years ago. You see here that I put down in the middle 26. It was an intuitive number. Right now I'm 24. And I just printed out pictures that would represent of the feelings and the situations I really wanted. You see TEDx speaking. You see me being in a happy marriage. You see a plane traveling around the world. You see me in a red carpet. You see me in a bikini, healthy body, and the craziest thing is I did that without judgment. I just wrote down and I put down whatever I wanted, and I made notes: love, diversity, integrity, growth. These are some of my personal values. But then also business. I want to make it profitable. It has to be fun. I wanted to make it international. That's why international brand. I want to have a strong family and network, and it has to be transformative. So you can do something similar for yourself. Like, how does your vision board looks like? What's the emotions and feelings you get from the conscious exercise that we did just before with the writing exercise? So print out those things or sketch it or draw it the way you want it as a creator. And then I just want to tell you, after 2 years, fast forward, half of those things, a lot of these things, it became to a reality. So me being in the room creating this vision board, but me now traveling, me being able to speak on stages and to actually go on the red carpet and then being selected as a TEDx speaker and all of these things, like that things, it happened. Even with Dubai, going to Nepal, celebrating that, going to Hollywood, it will happen in 2 months. So these things, again, it's a vision board exercise. Write down what things that you want to manifest for this year or next year. Find the image that represents this idea or feeling and come from a place of, I received it already. It's already there. The vision, the company you want to build, it's already created. It's already yours. And place that things in your bathroom, in your office, where you see it every day. And again, it starts with clarity, because clarity is power in what you want. And you will evolve as you go, so you don't need to figure out everything, but do this exercise in the best ability of who you are right now and today.
Thank you,
Oh, that's
Osin.
the last slide. Again, embrace your every iterations of you. I think in my whole journey, again, the version I'm speaking to you right now, this is my best version as for now. But I know in 6 months, in 12 months, there will be a different version of me and there's a different version of you. So again, embrace that, forgive yourself. And if you have any other questions, please let me know on Instagram, connect with Miss Onilude, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Osin. What do we say to Osin? Thank you, Osin. We love you. And
Thank you. We love you too.
you are the best that happened to us in this camp, and we're grateful that you made it to speak to us. Give my love to Danielle, to your beautiful mom.
I will
And
do.
of course, we also need you to tell us what the journey was at NEPA, you representing Wari, representing our organization. I need you to tell these young people the
Okay,
impact of
sure. So yeah, I
what
was,
is this.
yes, I was recently in Nepal 1 month ago. And in Nepal, I met a lot of powerful people ranging from diplomats, embassy members, social impact entrepreneurs worldwide. So like over 25 nationalities came together. And I had this honor to, for a few minutes, represent actually Deborah International Organizations on stage, the War Aid, Rape project, and also the things that we did together, the master classes and so on. And from there, what happens is that I said what actually the impact already happened, what the organization did, but also how people can support this. And I told them that people can support you through investors, people through funds, sponsoring people, but also through bringing great speakers on board. I mean, today I contributed as a speaker, but I know in the world there are so many other great speakers in different expertise. And so we can bring them on so they can help you in evolving your skill set in business, but also soft skill set or technical skill set. That's another part. And also another thing that I told Ms. Onyude is at some point, I also want to travel to Nigeria in person so I can do those teachings with you in person, whether it's financially related, whether it's like emotionally related or with Jesus Christ. So this is something that we and some of my friends in Nepal that we want to join. I will be speaking more about these things as we go. But yeah, it was a great honor, and I think it got a bit more exposure. My mission is to keep growing as an ambassador for Deborah International and for you guys, because I believe in the greatness of you. And I see so many guys of you, you have so many talents, you have a calling, you're so passionate. And I made so many amazing friends in Nigeria online. I've never met you so far in person, but I can feel this, I don't know, I can feel so much love, and I want to help for those who are ready for those transformations. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's why I represented you in Nepal and in many more places, which will happen. So that's in short.
Wow. Thank you, Osin, and we're so proud. We're so proud. And I feel like hugging you, and I'm already hugging you from here.
Hugging you guys all from far. All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let me know. I'm going to send you some of the slides on the chat. And if you want, you can make some further exercises, that the writing exercises and some other insights until I come to Nigeria. So we'll stay in touch digitally until then.
Okay, then we're waiting patiently for you to come to Nigeria, and it will be our joy to have you.
Perfect.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.